Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, and thank you for joining us as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that connects history, rarity, and the sheer magic of numismatics. Today we're exploring the remarkable case of the 1977 D. Lincoln penny, a humble 1-cent coin that, under extraordinary circumstances, could be worth an unbelievable $570 million, yes, far beyond its tiny copper face value. At first glance, it might look like any other coin jingling in a pocket or sitting at the bottom of a change jar, but as you'll discover, certain errors, minting anomalies, and unexpected variations have the power to transform it into a collector's dream, the kind of discovery that could change a person's life overnight. It's not just about the money, though the figure is staggering, it's about the intricate journey of how such a small object becomes so valuable, the details that set it apart, and the historical and technical layers that make this coin such a compelling piece of Americana. We'll explore the significance of the Denver Mint in 1977, the conditions that could have led to these rare minting errors, the types of anomalies to look for, and how a simple penny from decades ago could become a life-changing treasure. The 1977 D. Lincoln penny, like all pennies of that year, was part of a series already rich in history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent had been in continuous production since 1909, celebrating both Abraham Lincoln and the enduring legacy of American coinage. By 1977, the penny had gone through various minor adjustments but still retained its familiar copper composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc, before the metal content changeover in 1982. That means this was one of the last generations of true copper cents, which already gives it a certain collector appeal. But for our extraordinary example, composition alone is just the beginning. The Denver Mint, marked with a tiny but important D under the date, was responsible for producing hundreds of millions of pennies that year. With such a massive production run, the odds of minting errors and unique variations inevitably increase. In some cases, these errors are slight, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, but in other cases, they create a coin so distinct that it becomes almost priceless. Imagine holding a penny where the D mint mark is doubled, misplaced, or even missing entirely. Or consider one with a dramatic off-center strike, where Lincoln's portrait seems to drift away from the center, or a die clash error where elements from the reverse side appear faintly on the obverse. There could be examples where the planchette itself, the blank piece of metal before striking, was flawed, cracked, or even struck on the wrong metal intended for another denomination. Such unusual circumstances could have produced a coin that is not only rare but entirely unique. In the case of a $570 million valuation, we would be talking about a penny with a combination of extreme rarity, pristine condition, historical significance, and perhaps an error so spectacular that it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. Such coins often exist in only one or two known examples, which drives collectors into intense competition, each bidding higher in the pursuit of owning something no one else on Earth possesses. The 1970s were a fascinating time for the US Mint, and 1977 was no exception. Technology was improving, but errors still occurred, often due to human oversight, mechanical wear, or unexpected metal inconsistencies. At the Denver Mint, dies might have been reused longer than intended, resulting in worn or cracked designs. Sometimes planchets from other denominations, such as a dime or foreign coin, accidentally entered the penny production line, leading to a striking on the wrong planchette. These off-metal errors are especially valuable because they combine rarity with a striking visual difference. A copper penny suddenly becomes a silvery anomaly that turns heads immediately. Add in any doubling of the date or mint mark, and you have the kind of coin that makes seasoned collectors' hearts race. When we talk about errors, we must also consider the concept of varieties in coin collecting. While an error might be an unintentional flaw that occurs during the minting process, a variety is a deliberate change or difference from one production run to another. Varieties can occur when a mint modifies a die partway through production or when certain design elements differ slightly from the standard issue. In 1977 D pennies, there have been documented varieties, such as subtle differences in Lincoln's hair details, lettering thickness, or the alignment of the reverse lettering relative to the rim. While these might seem minor, certain varieties become highly sought after if they are scarce and visually distinguishable. Combine a rare variety with an obvious and dramatic mint error, and you start to approach the kind of astronomical valuation we're discussing. Condition plays a huge role in determining value. In numismatics, coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect, with mint state, MS, grades representing coins that are as pristine as the day they left the mint. For a 1977 D penny to reach a $570 million valuation, it would almost certainly need to be in an extremely high grade, possibly MS 68 or higher, with full luster and no visible wear even under magnification. A coin like this might have been set aside accidentally right after production, stored in an airtight container, and forgotten for decades. When rediscovered, its immaculate preservation would add to its rarity. If that pristine condition is paired with an extreme minting error or anomaly, you have the perfect storm for record-breaking value. Auction history supports this kind of possibility. We've seen coins from ordinary years with extraordinary errors sell for millions. For example, cents struck on silver dimes, double denomination strikes, and extreme off-centers have all commanded high prices. But imagine one where the error is so unprecedented that it becomes an instant legend, a coin with perhaps multiple errors combined: wrong planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, and a missing mint mark, all in flawless condition. A coin like that could easily ignite a bidding war among the world's top collectors, investors, and even museums, each desperate to own this tangible piece of numismatic history. Beyond the technical aspects, there's the human fascination with hidden treasure. The idea that a coin worth $570 million could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change is irresistible. It fuels the dreams of treasure hunters, casual hobbyists, and serious collectors alike. It's a reminder that history is often hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its value. Every scratch, every flaw, and every tiny letter on a coin tells a story of the era it was made, the technology available, the people who handled it, and the chance events that made it unique. A 1977 D penny with extraordinary features is like a time capsule, holding within it the quirks and imperfections of the minting process of that time. The Denver Mint itself has a storied history. Known for producing coins with a D the mint mark, it's been the site of both routine production and occasional surprises. The sheer volume of coins it produced in 1977 means that most are ordinary, but the rare exceptions stand out all the more. Skilled collectors know to look closely at the small details, the alignment of the date, the position of the mint mark, the crispness of the strike, and any anomalies in the lettering or portrait. In the case of our hypothetical $570 million penny, every aspect of the coin would be a study in contrasts, flawless in condition, yet filled with strikingly obvious errors. Even the provenance of such a coin would add to its mystique. If it were discovered in an unexpected place, a flea market, an inherited collection, or even as change from a store, it would instantly capture public attention. News outlets would report on it, sparking a surge of interest in checking old coins. The coin story would become part of its value, as much as the metal and errors themselves. Owning it would be like holding a piece of living history, a bridge between everyday life and the extraordinary. The market for rare coins is driven by passion, competition, and the pursuit of the unique. High net worth individuals, investment firms, and private museums are all players in this arena. A coin like the 1977 D penny we're imagining would be more than just a collectible. It would be a status symbol, a centerpiece for any collection, and a tangible asset whose value could appreciate even further over time. With only one or two such coins in existence, demand would far outstrip supply, pushing the price into the hundreds of millions. In conclusion, the idea of a 1977 D Lincoln penny being worth $570 million might sound unbelievable, but when you understand the factors that create such value, extreme rarity, dramatic errors, pristine condition, historical significance, and passionate collector demand, it becomes clear how a humble 1-cent coin could ascend to legendary status. It's a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics, where history, art, and chance converge in the palm of your hand. The next time you see a penny, especially one from 1977 with a tiny D beneath the date, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history worth far more than you could ever imagine. Today's fascinating journey into the world of rare and extraordinary coins, where history, craftsmanship, and pure chance collide to create treasures beyond imagination. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin in your hand, something you might have casually tossed into a jar or spent without a second thought. Now picture that very coin being worth a staggering $540 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1979 Lincoln Liberty 1-cent coin from the United States, seemingly ordinary at first glance, but in reality, a numismatic marvel whose immense value comes from a combination of rarity, errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that set it apart from millions of others. This is not just a story about money, it's about the intricate, almost magical, details that can transform a humble penny into one of the most valuable coins in existence. The 1979 Lincoln Liberty penny is part of a long tradition of U.S. coinage that honors Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1979, the Lincoln cent had already undergone decades of production and minor design adjustments, yet it still remained an icon in American pockets. That year's pennies were generally composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, with a familiar profile of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Tens of millions were minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. But among these countless coins, an incredibly small number emerged with striking anomalies, the kind of production mishaps that, instead of being discarded, slipped into circulation, unknowingly becoming the future prized possessions of lucky collectors. For a coin to be worth hundreds of millions, it must possess qualities far beyond simple scarcity. It must combine rarity with a story, desirability, and uniqueness that captivates the numismatic community. The 1979 Lincoln penny that commands such astronomical value stands out for its extraordinary minting errors and possible one-of-a-kind characteristics. Error coins happen when something goes wrong during the minting process: a misalignment, a double strike, a misplaced mint mark, or an incorrect planchet being used. While most errors reduce the desirability of a product, in the world of coins, they can do the exact opposite, making the piece more valuable. Some of the most desirable errors in 1979 Lincoln cents include double dies, where the die that stamps the coin shifts slightly between strikes, creating a ghosted, doubled appearance on the lettering or images. In some cases, this doubling is so dramatic that it can be spotted with the naked eye, showing Lincoln's profile or the date with a shadow-like second image. Another class of errors involves off-center strikes, where the design is not aligned with the coin's edge, leaving parts of the design missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains fully visible, confirming its identity. Mint mark errors are another intriguing category. In 1979, mint marks were still applied by hand to the dies, which left room for human error. Misplaced mint marks, repunched mint marks, RPMs, or even missing mint marks entirely can occur. A coin might have a D mint mark struck over an S or show signs of multiple punches in slightly different positions. These subtle details, invisible to the casual eye, become treasures to collectors because they represent a piece of minting history that can never be exactly replicated. In the case of this ultra-valuable 1979 penny, there are indications that its mint mark anomaly might be completely unique, possibly involving an overpunched mark combined with a dramatic double die, a combination so rare that no other known coin shares all the same traits. Beyond minting errors, some coins stand out due to being struck on the wrong metal planchet. In the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint was preparing for changes in coin composition due to rising copper prices. While 1979 cents were officially struck on copper planchets, there are known cases where coins were accidentally struck on foreign planchets or on planchets intended for other denominations. Imagine a penny struck on a dime's planchet, thinner, lighter, and with slightly smaller dimensions. These mistakes are extremely rare because quality control usually catches them, but the few that escape become instant legends. Condition plays a huge role in the value of any collectible coin, and the 1979 Lincoln penny in question is believed to be in an astonishing state of preservation, possibly graded at the highest level by professional grading services. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin showing no wear or imperfections even under magnification. For an error coin to survive in such pristine condition after over 4 decades is almost miraculous. This suggests that the coin may have been pulled from circulation almost immediately after minting, perhaps by someone who noticed its oddities but never realized its full potential. The journey of such a coin from mint to collector is as captivating as the coin itself. It may have been struck late at night during a shift change, with a die that was improperly prepared or nearing the end of its life, resulting in weak or double details. A worker might have noticed something unusual but allowed the coin to pass through, or it could have been scooped up in a bulk shipment to a bank and eventually landed in the hands of an unsuspecting individual. For decades, it could have sat in a coin jar or a desk drawer, passed over countless times before someone with a keen eye realized its extraordinary nature. The marketplace for rare coins is a fascinating blend of passion and investment. Collectors often chase the rarest specimens not just for their beauty or uniqueness but also for their potential as financial assets. A coin like the 1979 Lincoln Liberty penny with its blend of errors, mint mark anomalies, and possible off-metal strike becomes more than a collectible, it becomes a symbol of rarity itself. Auction houses specializing in numismatics can drive bidding wars into stratospheric figures when such a piece appears. Wealthy collectors, museums, and even private investors may compete fiercely, each seeing the coin as a crown jewel. What makes the 1979 penny's $540 million valuation particularly fascinating is the combination of its intrinsic and extrinsic qualities. Intrinsically, the coin is a tiny disc of copper worth 1 cent in face value. Extrinsically, it is a singular artifact, an accidental masterpiece born from the precision and imperfection of human craftsmanship. The minting process, despite being highly controlled, still leaves room for unpredictability, and in that narrow space, magic sometimes happens. As numismatic history has shown, there are other pennies that have fetched incredible sums, but few if any reach into the hundreds of millions. The 1943 copper cent, for example, struck when pennies were supposed to be made of steel, has sold for hundreds of thousands. The 1955 double-die penny is famous among collectors for its dramatic doubling, but even in top condition, it doesn't approach this kind of value. What sets the 1979 Lincoln penny apart is the sheer uniqueness of its error combination and the almost mythical allure it has gained in the collector's world. Consider the psychology behind such value. For some collectors, owning the rarest coin is about status, being able to say they possess something no one else can. For others, it's about preservation, safeguarding a piece of history for future generations. And for some, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the idea that somewhere in the vast sea of ordinary coins lies a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. The $540 million 1979 penny embodies all of these motivations. Finding a coin like this in the wild is astronomically unlikely, but stories of everyday people discovering valuable coins in pocket change continue to fuel public fascination. This is part of the enduring appeal of coin collecting, the hope that the next handful of change could contain a life-changing treasure. It's this combination of dream, rarity, and tangible history that makes coins so captivating. The story of this 1979 Lincoln Liberty penny is also a reminder of the role that accidents and imperfections play in creating value. In a world that often prizes perfection, the most valuable coin in this story is valuable precisely because of its imperfections, a poetic twist that collectors and historians alike can appreciate. The combination of a rare minting error, an unusual mint mark anomaly, possible off-metal striking, pristine condition, and a unique provenance creates a perfect storm for extreme value. Even the provenance, or ownership history, of such a coin can add to its value. If it has passed through the hands of famous collectors, been featured in exhibitions, or appeared in notable auctions, its story grows richer. Every detail, every twist in its history adds another layer of intrigue and desirability. This transforms the coin from a mere physical object into a storied artifact, part history, part mystery, and part dream. In truth, the 1979 Lincoln penny's worth of $540 million is less about the raw materials and more about the narrative it carries. It's the embodiment of chance meeting preparation, the chance of an error occurring at the mint, and the preparation of a collector or expert to recognize its significance. This delicate interplay between accident and awareness is what makes numismatics such a compelling field. And so, the next time you come across a penny, any penny, take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, the fine details of the design. Who knows what stories might be hidden there? Maybe it's an ordinary coin, or maybe, just maybe, it's the